Welcome in. Welcome, Mrs. Bartman. Hello, Hilo Grandma, SRN Jen, Vivalda, Anastasia in Cleveland. Word up. I currently have a cold. I'm talking like a robot. What's up? I've got a cold now. I got my daughter's cold. Told you it would come. Just randomly woke myself up a couple nights ago with a sneeze. I'm like, uh-oh. That can't be good. Then I got up and I started feeling a little bit, let's say, congested. It's just one of those where your nose runs. It's not that I feel off, just congested. But I still chugged 2.5 bottles of NyQuil. Whole bottle. Figured we'd look after this cough right away. And I've had a cup of Neocitrin, so I feel just fantastic. Yeah, what's going on up in Renfrew County? There's so much going on in Renfrew County. Holy Hannah. Like what? Like what? What the hell is going on up in there? The ice froze over on the lakes? Did Johnny down the road just yank in a 7-pound walleye? Oh, I should move out there. Maybe somebody caught a 10-pound pike through the ice. Maybe it's 20-pounder. Is that why I sound calm? I'll try to calm myself down tonight. I do love pickerel too. If you've got a good pickerel lake that you've got land on and you want to sell that, let me know. I just move up there all the time. I'd be a lot healthier than living in the city. For me personally, anyway. Sorry, I just sniffed in your ears. You want some burbot? Freshwater cod. Miss Bartman, are you crazy? A ling? A dogfish, they call them? You eat those fucking things? You crazy girl, a freshwater cod. I caught a burbot one time in Honey Harbor, which is on Georgian Bay, right off my friend's dock. It was probably one of the best fights I've ever had in a fish. It was probably 7, 8. It was a full-size adult, maybe 7 pounds. I don't even remember, but it was on the larger side. And that fucking thing fought. I thought I had a 30-pound pike. I thought I had a 30-pound pike on. And I got the thing up. I'm like, what the hell is that? Oh, that's a dogfish. Well, fuck off. Joyce, you heard there is a private island, Whitefish Lake, in northwestern Ontario. There's so many fucking lakes up there, it's ridiculous. Can you get to it? Can I drive to it? Pretty much any lake that you go to. I'm right about 20 miles north of the best pickerel fishing ever in Lake Erie. But tell me, why is it every time I go out for those pickerel, I can never seem to find them? I'll come back with so many sheep's head from that damn lake. Holy shit. It's almost become comical. Anyway. You heard there's a private island. Yeah, there's quite a few of those around here, yo. Well, that's a whole different beast. Cindy Clark, that's a different beast. Be after those king salmon out there, jigging off the side of the boat. Yeah, I like perch too, yellow perch. Nice feed of 12 or 13 perch, fresh. That's perfect. In the frying pan, Miss Bartman, I hear you, man. Yellow perch, fantastic. Yeah, you're up near Lake Couchiching, Lake Simcoe. All kinds of good perch fishing up on Coochiching, isn't there? Too expensive. I want you to tell me where the cheap lakes are. That's all too expensive now. What's up, Annie? You're actually waiting for me tonight? Well, thank you. There is all kinds of things to talk about when it comes to this case, by the way. And I mean Jack and Lily Sullivan. I got into one that we're going to in turn get into tonight that I found interesting. It was motivated by Justin over Crazy Justin at Clutch Them Pearls. He's reading this enormously long text to Kent from Daniel. But it wasn't just in that communique, which was just ridiculous. It was what Daniel mentioned in one of his text messages that Justin had up on his screen. And it mentions the first time Children's Aid came, as though they were involved over there at the house more than once. And Daniel brought up the kids' behavioral issues. Well, what behavioral issues? Is that a thing? Or did Danny just make that up? Or more so, is it a behavioral issue to him? I'm thinking, people haven't talked about Jack and Lily having behavioral issues other than being behind other kids, which is a fairly generalized statement. Not academically, because they're not in an environment to even worry about that, but it has more to do with social and interaction and how engaging they are in a junior kindergarten grade 1 environment. What the hell are you talking about? The hell are you talking about, Cindy Clark? Mucktuck. Mucktuck Annie? She's 4 feet wide. She's wider than she is tall. That's a Stompin' Tom song. I think Mucktuck is in Quebec. But there's literally millions of lakes. You can start naming them. What the hell are you talking about, Mucktuck? Mrs. Bartman, always putting the blame on the children. Well, it brought up a couple points in the communications, and I thought, hell, we'll talk about it. Why not? He's such a douchebag. Yeah, I kind of missed it too, but what I found more interesting is a series of... There's a series of communications. I got it transcribed here, or I did. I had it transcribed. There's about 6 statements of Daniel's. We're going to go have a look at it. Daddy Knowledge 136 has become a member. Welcome. That's quite the name. What the hell is going on out there? Welcome in. Daddy Knowledge. Daddy Knowledge 1369. Oh, that's so sensual. Exotic. Absolutely, but they can even describe them in a kind light. To talk your ear off in that sense, Miss Bartman, it's whatever. They describe them to the extreme of whatever they feel that they need to in the moment in front of the camera. It's the opposite of being reliable in that sense. Oh, yeah. They're just out looking for a good time, aren't they, Danny? Whatever happened to silver gold guitars? The real Norbeaster, I don't know. I'm trying to say it's probably Daniel. That silver gold guitar account, who never seemed to make a lick of sense, all of a sudden has done a disappearing act, we'll say. That's not like him. And it came right around the time that Danny got served. So Dan got served the Monday. We learned about it on Friday, I believe. It happened before we got all wise. Like, it happened before anybody out here in the public knew about it. Silver, gold, and guitars. And isn't it interesting that I wonder, you never quite know who it is, but a lot of people have suggested that they're part of the close circle in that sense. Kent and Durwood's little study group up there on the Facebooks. Oh, ooh, like these fucking old boomers just found it and realized how you can troll through technology. Well, welcome to the 21st century. Fucking way behind. Most of us are finished, gone through that phase. And we're done. It's like they just discovered technology. Oh, look at all the things I can do under sock accounts. Look at all the things and all the trickery I can get up with because everybody believes me. Everybody gonna believe anything I say. Old Durwood. I appreciate that helicopter, Grandma. Thank you. That's very generous of you, darling. Just clapping seal, that account was weird. It's hard to really gauge. But old Daniel was talking about, getting into investing. Silver and gold are always good things to hedge from the normal everyday economy. Probably the best couple of things. And guitars, well, that just falls in line with the little bandmates. You guys are all fingering each other in your little Fisher-Price band. Little bells that play themselves when you pull it across the floor. Kent's probably a pro in all of that. You really play the Fisher-Price xylophone. It's got a great sound. It's difficult, so small. But I mean, hell, that still sounds good. Fisher-Price, the Fisher-Price instruments they make for young kids? Got the little Fisher-Price drum. They got the little xylophone and the popcorn bell. Got little things like that. Rock on. Old Lobster Claw. Kent the Rock Star. That makes me laugh. This fucking guy. What a fucking guy. Oh, this Kent. That's just up my alley. He's like Pictou County. He's like Pictou County's, what would you call them? What would they call them in Victorian England? I'll figure it out in a second. You made me wonder if it was Kent since... What does that say? Why can't I read that? Hold on, let me make that a little bigger. Helicopter grandma. It's just the way that YouTube does it. They pick randomly people who are watching, so you're not always in control of who gets the membership or the gifted membership in that sense. I appreciate it. It's fantastic. Don't let people's names creep you out. AB Cindy is with Wade? Yes. Yes, you say. So she knows exactly what Malaya and Daniel were like. Exactly. Well, listen. I think Cindy's purposefully playing a lot more unknowing than we like to think. Or we don't know, right? I got a big asterisk beside their name until, a later date. I don't completely trust Cindy, but I trust her in this situation. She's protecting her daughter and Meadow as well. That's a good thing to a degree, but there's a big problem with this fake story that they pushed. You knew since May 2nd, May 3rd, May 4th weekend that something else happened. They know what that something else is. I've got no doubt about it in my mind. It would be impossible not to know. It would be impossible for Malaya not to know. And now she's playing silent and she wants to pretend like she doesn't know to avoid any punishment. And, you know, I think I probably misread these charges in hopes that, you know, Malaya was opening up more, working with authorities. That's probably looking at things with rose-colored glasses in that sense. It has more to do with the information that she shared and what police can do, regardless of it doesn't necessarily have to be the individual seeking charges. We don't know that. They have enough information and they can protect the name of the adult in this case and go forward and prosecute Daniel to help paint them a bigger picture in the context of the Jack and Lilly case, the missing persons case, in which the police have greater time and less overhead in the sense that they don't have to fill out as much paperwork and they're not under the clock, not putting conditions on themselves by labeling things criminal. But they didn't get there because Malaya has all of a sudden become cooperative, is my point to this. They've followed up in the information that they were willing to share, but there's a whole lot more to this. People obviously want to get their minds made up ahead of time. It's just natural. Explore core north, silver, golden guitar, not Kent. No, I don't think it was Kent. I don't think, Esther, it was Kent, only because like silver gold guitars very rarely had a point. It was just like a ragey, weird spam. No, Jennifer, I don't think that she said anything to anybody. She's got the fear of God put into her. Not just by Daniel, but by the situation. The last thing that Malaya wants to face is this situation. That's why she gets Cheryl to do it. Miss Bartman doesn't trust any of the adults that lived knowing the hell that existed. Fuck them all. Eye for an eye. Holy Hannah. She's probably more guilty than you realize, unfortunately. Maine, yeah, that's the point to all of this. We know that there's all kinds of deception, and there's this, by way of Malaya and Daniels from the very beginning. You can't get away from that until she has that resolved. There is no room for any sympathy or empathy in my heart at this point in time, knowing what we've come to learn about the situation. You can call it Stockholm Syndrome. You can call it all of these different things undiagnosed from afar because you're feeling some sort of way, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the individual lied. She was safe as soon as she called the police. She's not turning the guilty party over and saying, look what this monster did to my beautiful children. She's pushing a false narrative to avoid any accountability, to protect her own self from punishment. She doesn't want to be put away for life. Although she's probably going to go there for life, she won't serve that. We'll see how that plays out. Firehorse, I don't think MBM told anyone, including the RCMP. She has a hand in what happened, in my opinion. Yeah, like it or not, at some point, there's going to be a line there. And you know the lifestyle that they were leading out there was not the best environment for kids to be in. No, she hasn't told anyone in that sense. People already know, can put two and two together. She refuses, and she's going with the story that she told the RCMP. That's no different than the female version of Daniel, like it or not. People just are overly emotional in the moments that they discover, oh, well, here's an individual that's been victimized. Well, that doesn't finish the end of the situation here. It doesn't finish the story. She was victimized by Daniel, therefore she needs special treatment, and she's off the hook. Not at all. She was a participant out there and in everything that happened. And she doesn't want the law to sort that out for her. She'd rather stay quiet, it sounds like. I can understand that. That's fear. She got the fear of punishment. She has a story that really loosely everybody around her accepts. And it's not very difficult to maintain because all you're doing is pretending not to know anything. And everybody else around you has to play by that rule. They're not pressing you. They're not asking you. You're definitely not sharing. You're doing the opposite. You're having them now, by proxy, continue to use this lie, this element of deception around your own children's fate. Zero chance at this point in my mind. Zero chance of anybody else being involved. That conversation shouldn't even be had anymore. It's kind of, I guess you have to bring it up. The only information that we have are what they can tie. I mean, as the public, not out there. The RCMP know a whole lot more because it's their own investigation. And we can only speculate as to the information that they do know. But they're way ahead of us. Now you're not just walking around after the situation with Daniel. They're not just walking around. Should he be found guilty and all of that, and he'll have his chance in court, or else he's going to get slapped with these fucking charges. And that's just from probing Malaya on the information that she was willing to share. The RCMP aren't going to rely on hoping that they can hope that she comes forward and volunteers the information before that they have to go get this the hard way. And that's exactly what they're doing. What are you talking about, Cindy Clark? This community has nothing. Whose community? What are you talking about? You have a community that knows survival. The RCMP effed up the plan. They were in the area. I don't know what you're talking about, Cindy Clark. Nothing's messed up. Nobody's fucked up. It's too early, especially the public, to recognize where they fucked up. I'm with you guys because it's so obvious you think that it should be dusted up by now. All put aside. But when an individual comes with all kinds of false information, you're not doing your job. You've got to do it. You've got to get the information that you need in this situation a different way. There's good news and there's bad news. It's just complicated in how it plays out, and it's not going to play out in a textbook way. It doesn't mean they're getting away with anything. They're not, quite the opposite. Bonza Aussie, why anybody should be feeling for either of them. This is what they desire, what they want. Oh, look at how I'm going through it in light of my children just being completely taken from me. They're misrepresenting the situation. It's another performance. It's another act in that sense. Nothing to do with what it is that happened or the lies. Oh, we're not supposed to talk about the lies. You don't want to upset Malaya. We only need well wishers in this circumstance. People who are easily malleable. Excuse me. What? I got to scroll back up. I wondered if MBM did it too in DM covering. However, well, all kinds of scenarios have gone through our minds in that sense. Don't get married to any one scenario. Firehorse, I wondered if MBM did it too in DM covering. However, Janie wouldn't cover for her, and they are both lying from day one. So I don't think that at all now. I just keep my mind open. I think her silence in all of this speaks louder than anything. Malaya has the power, if she was a legitimate victim in all of this, and it got away from her. She should have been protecting. First and foremost, she neglected her duties as a parent by getting her children out of there. The fact now is, well, that's an understatement, unfortunately. They lied. Why did they lie to Children's Aid? Well, it's just what these people did. In an attempt to protect their family, they'll lie, okay? So a lot of meetings are just situations where these workers get lied to, and they go back and report to their superior, their managers, their case managers. But it sounds, again, like it was more than once. We know of one time, but the way Daniel speaks about it, it happened more than one time. It was more than once. There's an ongoing issue. There's an ongoing issue. Well, what does that say about you, Danny, when you are claiming to do all of the work that Malaya claims, that you claim Malaya neglected? I'm expecting that there's a lot more, how do we want to say it, verbal abuse in the house. And that verbal abuse is one-sided. Coming from Daniel, telling her what it is that she needs to do in that situation, especially after Meadow shows up. Cindy Clark says, I'm not saying the RCMP messed up. Okay. They were available on the spot. Esther, they're all guilty. We believe 100. The way that the law is going to treat it, and they should, is that they're all up for 25 to lifetimes too. They're all responsible until you guys come up with the real story as to what the hell happened up there. Right? Once the truth comes out a little bit, it's going to come out a lot. Danny wants you to think that there absolutely nothing happened. There's nothing worth remembering. Nothing happened. Absolute bullshit. Something's always happening. You're all here. Take a look at the clocks in the bottom right of your desktop. Something's happening right now, even though you might not be doing anything but listening. You can mark that down into your timeline, sunshine. And 1 minute leads to the next minute, which leads to the next minute. Should jog your memory. You tweaker. The fact that they have a series of answers about this that would indicate that they're lying, whether they're dazing in and out of sleep. This is distancing language in that sense. But to the cops, or better yet, in a courtroom, that's not going to be good enough. That's not a good enough explanation in that sense, and you're going to look guilty. That's a non-answer. It's not going to help them in that sense. And I have to expect that the non-answers are going to be they're going to be a thing, because not answering forever, in theory, to them and what they did to the kids, not answering those questions is going to result in a better ending for them rather than telling the truth. That's how bad it is. Absolutely, LD. I don't respect Malaya one bit for putting blame back on to the children in this sense, and utilizing the autism spectrum disorder and their interpretation of that in consideration of the lifestyle and how it is that they're living like filthy fucking rodents. Dripping with disgust. You look like you fuckers stink. Absolute zero sympathy for Malaya in this. You moved this fucking asshole in after 2 weeks, brainchild. What did you think was going to go on? What did you think the risk factors were with just meeting randos on the internet, and you fucking moved them in? Next thing you know, he unalives your 2 fucking kids. This is a Facebook dating horror story, friends. You're very generous, Helicopter Grandma. Thank you very much. Helicopter Grandma, can we listen to JM again? Puts a lot into perspective for you. Yeah, we can do that. What the hell's going on? This NyQuil's finally getting to Charity's head. She's running around here like a crazy person. But getting back to this message, which is on your screen right here. These are little leaks in real time that could indicate, like here's Danny referencing more than one CPS visit. The fact that Jack and Lilly had behavioral issues, says the suspect. Now, ain't nobody else talking about the kids having behavioral issues except Daniel. You know what I mean? So here's the suspect interpreting something to be behavioral issues. Here's a place where you can further follow up. Oh, exactly. What do you mean? What sort of behavioral issues, Danny, are you talking about in reference to the missing kids? And he was always in charge of getting them up, getting them down, potty training. There wasn't much left. Look at everything that he seemed to have accomplished in under 24 months while living together. Everything that the children needed was done in under like 18 to 20 months in that sense, rather than over the course of an entire childhood. Like for this guy doesn't even fucking represent. Listen, asshole. Jack's still running around in a pull-up. Obviously not potty trained. I'm not even judging him for that, but what I'm saying to you is you're already taking credit for something that hasn't happened yet. Why? It's, I guess, ironic in that sense. It's because he's trying to take credit for it in an effort to bolster his own image in front of a bunch of strangers and police. He doesn't have Malaya to sit there and shake her head. Oh yeah, he's just fantastic. He's just a fantastic fucking tweaker. I couldn't have asked for more. So she immediately admits to abuse, neglect in a way that could be prosecuted in the court of law because of her admission to Belinda about finding out that suspect number 1, Daniel Martell, was engaged in hardcore rug activity, consumption mainly, the day before she got induced with Meadow. These guys really move fast. Holy Hannah, you guys really move fast. The love bunch. Ow! Move him in 2 weeks, you're knocked up. Then you figure out after 9 months, you're going to be induced. That's when you find out that he's an abuser in that sense. And you still chose to stay with them and move out of Patty's into his house. No, there's more of a story here with the type of lifestyle that Malaya was living. And you're not going to be able to blame the substances. You're not going to be able to blame anything but your fucking self. So all of this stuff she very well could have hid from her immediate family in that sense, but it would be difficult not to tell that she's not quite right. There's a reason why she's living with Patty. There's a reason why things didn't work out with Cody. And it wasn't always in just the other person. There's another person involved in this toxic relationship that you keep getting yourself into as well, and it's you. No, it's a combination of things. You know, I'm not saying that's all her fault for them getting isolated. The road to hell is paved with good intentions with these tweakers. They did it to themselves because of their lifestyle. The isolation, the cutting off of family just comes with the territory. The likelihood is that she's a substance abuser herself, not just alcohol. And we're not blaming it on the drugs. You're blaming it on the person who's abusing the drugs. And there's all kinds of substance abuse within that home on a constant basis since the get-go. What's going on, some beach? Old Dougie Hutton. I love Dougie. Old Dougie Hutton has popped up on TT. What is that? I am Doug. Please. He is getting sassy with, oh, you'll see. What are you talking about? Oh, it is some beaches, Doug. Is that you, Dougie? How come you got a chick's... I'm so confused. It's got a chick's picture. Oh, TikTok? Thanks. What's he talking about on TikTok? Yeah, Annette Conway, the kids did look taken care of until she got with Daniel in that sense. Yep. Pictures can be deceiving too, though. But I agree with you. I'm not saying that it was intentional. It just goes along with, this is the damage that drugs do to you. This is what the damage of substance abuse, your party lifestyle, in which you couldn't wait to get back into while your children were missing Malaya. You're a regular Casey Anthony. That's what Casey Anthony did. And that's what you're doing, allegedly. Megan Boswell. It's possible to change for the worst in a short amount of time as well. And especially after something that... hold on. Fucking driving me up the wall here. Oh, Jesus. Knocking shit off the shelves, running around like they're monkeys with no heads. Let's see. Notice what I didn't do there, Daniel. My children are still alive. Yeah, Dougie blocks me up there on TikTok. Oh, you're right, SR. Yeah, Jen, Doug was scamming the sober community. Yeah, he was for a while, wasn't he? Yeah, Miss Bartman. Them talking about the kid's black eyes like it was common. Yeah, there's a problem with that. Even more so now that the kids are missing. So they're both pathological liars. Not just Daniel. Malaya's a lying, thieving, dirty, not living right son of a bitch. Sorry, Cindy. Daughter of a bitch. Like, you ripped off Patty. You stole from her. You guys were stealing money, telling her that you're not paying her back at that. I mean, how lower can you guys get in that sense? You guys together were a criminal duo. You're right, Kelly. A real mother would want a proper burial for her babies. Like, her silence at this point in that sense tells you how little value that she had in regards to Jack and Lily. So there was a whole lot of conditioning. She probably started feeling a lot different about the kids after Cody blocked them out of his life. And she valued her own children less over a period of time, and was made to deal with the newborn. And Michelle says, I'm sorry, I can't trust anyone's perception that calls Janie's house a farm. Isn't that what she told Belinda? That's what Belinda says. I trust 90% of what Belinda says when it's on point. Because even she's always being manipulated here online nonstop, and she gets it from a bunch of simps. Okay, so sometimes she gets things in her mind that probably shouldn't be there. But yeah, I believe her account of things, absolutely. Don't forget, Patty bought MBM a new vehicle in that sense, new to her. I understood DV. I went through it, but her silence is concerning to me. Absolutely, Helicopter Grandma. She didn't want to do anything about the behavior until after her kids ended up going missing. The answer to all of it is that she's probably drunk so fucking much, probably so fucked up, she barely remembers anything from day to day. So even her behavior, she just assumes that her behavior was fine, or everything's fine in that sense, because nothing really ever stinks. She's never of sober mind. In my mind, at this point in time, it's no different than the story that they would have given Children's Aid when they came by. They have a script then, and they have a script now for this emergency, and Malaya is hardwired to be deceptive in that sense, in this circumstance. She thinks it's protection. To her it is, because they're calling her out for her nasty behavior, in which she knows is wrong. She's portraying that she's forced to lie. That's why it's justified, rather than understanding her true lack of commitment to being a parent, should we say. They didn't show up because they have something against you personally. They showed up because of the conditions that the kids were living in. Now, people can always clean up, declutter, make things easier for them, but it's a representation of their mental health in the moment. Thank you, Vivalda. That's very generous of you, darling. A wonderful super sticker. Mwah. Michelle, yeah, AB, sounded like you have some feral cats. Oh, you have 3? Oh, in the background. I when there's a lot of excitement in the living room, so it carries over. It just always happens to be when I'm talking and online. The noise turns up for whatever reason. Drives you up nuts sometimes. But I get it. Malaya's native status, which ensures that she might even get put on the lodge where they go to heal when they are convicted. Well, Vivalda, not so concerned about that right at this point in time. Not concerned about status and treatment at this point in time. Right now, we're concerned about Jack and Lily and what happened to them and why it is that the people that we call their parents and step-parents are lying and avoiding discussing anything relevant to what happened to Jack and Lily. Speaking the truth loud and clear, Julia. Mwah. Thank you very much. You know, Malaya might be a victim of Daniel's, but in the long run, Jack and Lily were a victim of Malaya and Daniel and Janie. Irie girl, Malaya's just as guilty as Daniel. She knew what he was all about. Yeah, well, it's definitely going to be brought up. It's definitely going to be a thing within this scope. That's part of the percentage of accountability that you're going to take in all this. It might not be your hand, but we need to figure out what it is happened to them. And they'll figure it out. They will. They'll get there at some point. They'll be at that point in time. Where because of everything that they're sitting in front of the cops and they agree to, the only next step would be to slap those cuffs on. Slow and methodical. Tash, you're saying you think Dan moved him in the car at night and Janie and Justin went back on the ATV to hide them better when she left her phone at home during the search. Yeah, this whole scenario, it only makes sense. There is a reason that was more than just to avoid the cops. They were out and away from the scenario, and we don't know all of the time frames. This is a very important part of the RCMP's investigation. What happened after, like the May 2nd, May 3rd search, May 4th, in regards to their behavior, why it was that they were out without communications, meaning they weren't able to be tracked. Where did they go before all of that time? That's why all of that video surveillance was important in that sense as well, because it helps paint a bigger picture from as many people with trail cams and cloud cams and Ring doorbell cams in that sense. Yeah, Ginger, they spent all of this time. They spent all of this time dehumanizing Jack and Lily, blaming them for what it is that happened. No, kids chose to leave the house and they just magically disappeared. We can't find them. not sure what kind of DNA it was on the blanket. Who knows? Mrs. Bartman. Daniel won't tell us the why it's so important. Doesn't want to. The fact that he misrepresented is just a signal that he fucked up in that whole scenario as well. From an outsider's, a first-timer's look at it, you would think that, okay, well, it was a reason for them to be out and about. There was evidence in a tree, just randomly in a tree, that matched Garlock Road up with the location where this, or they were spending a lot of their time. Making it look like they were dropping breadcrumbs Daniel was picking up all along the way. And yeah, it's more evidence that the kids were indeed off the Garlock Road residence in a very primitive way from a person who's trying to stage a scene in that sense. Like it was justification for the reason why they were down in that area searching to begin with. Runs with scissors. They were behind in school because they were neglected in their entire lives. Has nothing to do with missing days at 4 and 6. They're having trouble in that environment with what would be considered milestones at their particular age. It's not like missing too many days. It's not like the things that they're guilty of aren't solely learnt in school. They're learnt through healthy upbringings with family members who care about you, with proper guidance to help you meet those milestones. They don't just naturally occur. Starting to sound like my dad. Fucking idiot. You actually have to do the work. Yeah, you actually have to do reading. You read with children. You engage with them. You treat them nice. They don't raise themselves. No, they don't have known learning disabilities. You guys are looking at it. No. There's nothing wrong with the kids other than their upbringing in that sense. Again, they're 4 and 6. They're too young to have known. They're not in an environment even to have that measured yet. They're too young. Ginger, it's obvious by the locations of the toys in the yard that the children stayed close to the trailer. Those toys don't get put away. There's no place for those toys in that sense. Another part of a stage scene in that sense. They probably don't leave the trailer very often. They don't get out unless it's all to go drive and yell at Malaya, drive around and get things. Well, she was in his web, though, at that point in time. Who says that? Claudia Schmuck 4344 MBM should have had the sense to kick Daniel to the curb the minute he started dictating who she could or couldn't communicate with and tracking her every move. But no, now the children are likely dead. Right. So that's a very important part to all of this. The guy's sitting on the CBC talking about, let's say making a weak assertion in that sense, by talking about how him and Malaya were blocking their friends on their phones. Who the fuck does that? Nobody in a relationship should be on their phones blocking people on their behalf in order for them to feel more secure in their relationship. Like it was a decision. I'm going to go and block out all my friends I'm going to voluntarily isolate myself from the world just so my new man, Danny boy, doesn't have to feel jealousy. Because there was no way that he was ever going to trust Malaya because of what it is that she did. The same reason why Janie probably hates her from the get-go, the first time they met, because they've only been together for 2 weeks. What kind of individual? How seriously do you want us to take your relationship? You've just been together 2 weeks, Romeo and Juliet. I'd be looking at you side-eyed too. You mean to tell me after 2 weeks you just moved in, you shacked up? What the fuck's up with her? What kind of person would even do that? And Daniel knows that as well. And that's how he's treating you, Malaya. That's how he treated you. If you were going to do that with him, you go and do that with some other dude as well. This relationship of yours didn't get off to a really great start. There was no respect in that sense. Oh, don't judge me. Don't stigmatize me. I didn't. Society did. There's a reason that there's stigmas. There's a reason why people look down upon things in society, because they're not right and only lead to the wrong things, you two know-it-alls. Children should know the basics before starting school. It's not the teacher's job to teach the kids the basics. My kids could read right before school. Right, Bonzo. Exactly. Kids don't learn shit in school in that sense. You need to teach them. You need to do the teaching. I wish somebody told my parents that. Once he got her and the kids to Garlock Road, they were isolated. Then he started taking her phone and stuff. She didn't have a car to leave him yet. Well, think about all of the other things that are so much worse and sketchy than this friend blocking on each other's phone in that sense. Think about what the next step to that is. So now you've isolated all your friends out, so you're expecting not to ever talk to any of your old friends again. Why? Isn't that bizarre? That's like the opposite reason you get to somebody. Usually you get with somebody to extend your social circle, to bring more happiness. There's more fun when everybody's on the same level in that sense. You have a richer life experience. You're bringing positivity to that other person's life. You're building something. That's what should be. But this relationship was for why? What was the point on getting together in the first place? Well, Malaya has 2 kids. She's looking for a father figure, a daddy in her sense. That's what Daniel is so hesitant to get on with. Didn't your boys, the Tate brothers, Danny, tell you not to go after those, single moms? Thought you were trying to be an alpha male. You weren't getting with Malaya because you wanted to be a father to Jack and Lilly, you douchebag. Especially after 2 weeks. What are you, some sort of weirdo? No, Sandra, it's more than just the child tax credit. There's that involved in it as well. It's just a factor, an influence. But there's more primal degenerate behavior going on here. I would have to say that each one of them were looking to get out of the low point in their lives that they felt that they were in. They were desperate to get out. Daniel's desperate to get the hell out of Janie's trailer. Malaya's desperate to find herself a new man because she doesn't feel fulfilled. She's just that way. She needs a man. Why did you say it that way? I sound like, oh, she needs a man. I sound like an old angry woman. Oh, shenanigans. Hello. Tash Pond. They say Malaya had them blocked out. or excuse me, they say that Malaya had them blocked, but Angie and Cheryl both called her when they heard about the kids. Yeah, well, I mean, listen, not taking them too literal in that sense. They're telling you that they went and blocked friends out. So you have to imagine it as there's a certain bunch of individuals maybe at that time that were taking up a lot of Malaya's time, like texting back and forth. You know how it goes? And it was making Danny, old Danny boy, jealous. And Danny wanted to ice all of that time out that was taking Malaya away from managing maybe his back massages or making him a sandwich. You know, he was trying to gain time. He wanted her attention, all of it. Because that's just Christ. Dude. So crazy. You guys are fucking nuts. She needs a man, but she always picks a boy, Brian Sutherland says. Why don't you give her your number? You send her a little love note. She's single now, Brian. Oh, whoa. Let me get right on. Dial those 7 digits. Yo, Malaya, baby. Are you down with it? Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Annie, are you okay? That's a Michael Jackson song, isn't it? Wah. Jack needed a father figure that would take him fishing with his worms, not beat on him. So sad. Oh, yeah. Like Jack was a perfect little fishing buddy. You have a kid that's out there digging up worms. That's a good thing. You put them in your composter and have yourself a little worm farm. Mr. Fisherman. But he wasn't about all of that. He was about feeling good all of the time. He was preoccupied with his addictions. This is a common thing. That's just the nature of the addiction. Danny, you're no different than anybody else. Tash, as a woman in a relationship, I almost completely changed friend groups when I got into a new relationship. Nothing to do with abuse, just priorities. Well, it's just the type of person you are, girl. People's social circles evolve in that sense, don't they? But this is different. This is a lot different. This is Daniel asserting things that he perceives she's doing wrong, and he's convincing her, gaslighting her into agreeing with them. That there is a real need to delete these friends, that, we did it with each other. And just to show Malaya just how much of a trusting individual he is, she got to choose 5 friends of his that he would delete, just like he made her do. And somehow that's even Steven in that sense. The fact that you're even engaged in that little circle right there tells me that you don't trust the person that you're with. Why don't you trust her? Because she moved you in after 2 weeks. She's man hungry. She's looking for a Band-Aid. And old Danny subconsciously knows that, and that's what dictates his poor treatment towards her. Because everybody wised up and they can't take her seriously. You just threw this person into the mix, and where everybody's supposed to pretend that you guys are just the next couple. Pictou County's finest. Oh, they'll take me seriously now that I got her knocked up. How the fuck were you going to pay for Meadow? Drippy Thoughtsicles 1537. He waited until he knocked her up. I love that term. Girl, you got knocked up. He waited until he knocked her up. You know whatever's coming next isn't going to be good, do you? That's not a real term of endearment. Oh, shit. He waited until he knocked her up and she was vulnerable to threaten he'd leave her if she didn't cut off contact with her friends. Big man, that is. I don't know about that, Drippy. Who knows when it actually happened? We don't have that information. I'm expecting that it happened right away. I'll keep it open. Probably happened all the fucking time, you know? It probably happened every, month, every 4 weeks. Who are you talking to on that goddamn thing? Imagine how paranoid old tweaker boy here is, old micro-dosing the Tina. How paranoid he is just sitting in there in the quiet. He's hearing all of the electrical sounds of the clock. They're so poignant to him because of the state of mind that he's in. Just sitting there staring at fucking Malaya, typing away, texting away on her phone, preoccupied. Who the hell are you talking to? You talking to another man? Better not be another man on Facebook dating, because there you go again. She can't stay off of the Facebook. They met on Facebook dating. He knows how she is. She's just a hoe. I know you's a hoe because I'm trying to make that hoe a housewife. You're the one who picked her up on that. You were trying to rip a piece. You were trying to get busy with her. The next thing you knew, you said, fuck it, why don't we get busy every day? And you moved into Patty's. And this little fuck fest never ended. Well, prove me wrong. That's exactly what happened. That's the whole point. That's the reason why you got on that in the first place. It wasn't to find, this isn't like ChristianValues.com here. Even at Christian Values, you're looking for a booty call. You're looking for someone to do the nasty with. Somebody that you can tolerate. That's why you get on these apps in the first place. People are so shocked. Oh, I think you're not genuine. I think you're only looking for one thing. Well, fuck, go on to the next one. Plenty of fish in that sea. Listen, yeah, Facebook addicted too. The whole thing's surrounded around that. They have to look a certain way. Got a new man. I'm now got a new relationship. People are going to perceive me as really having a lot more fun than they probably are in that moment. It's all just posturing. They're all posers. If you were really happy, you wouldn't be on Facebook at that point in time. Janie could stand conversations with MBM like Janie is having some intellectual conversation. Well, what were they talking about? I'll just imagine. I'll just bet. You can goddamn well bet it wasn't about what's for dinner. Oh, yeah. Go fucking put my chickens in. Talk about the Temu orders. Oh, wow. That Temu's really addictive. I'm really fucking addicted to it. You guys are addicted to your phones regardless. Yeah, poor Patty had to listen to Meadow being conceived. It was probably the weirdest thing ever. They probably kept her drunk. We all have heard and seen what Daniel and Malaya and Janie and their words and actions, etc. from the beginning. We cannot unsee or unhear that, Esther. And these are the things that they're willing to share with us. Okay? Think about everything that we've come to learn about this and how we talk about it. We've gotten there by way of the information that the suspects in this have shared about their own intimate life. And Malaya's doing everything to try to not share that at this point. Impossible. Why are you so ashamed? This is a Facebook dating story gone wrong. This is not a beautiful match. You guys fell for it. Addicted to looking at Temu, I doubt she can actually afford to order. Keep watering those flowers, Janie, maybe one day. Well, girl, you'd be surprised. There's some really good deals on there. The Temu tractor trailer, the Compton swap meet. We all, let me see. Excuse me. The only victims here are Jack and Lilly, period. Absolutely. And they'll try to present themselves as being the victims in light of trying to garner your sympathy in that moment. And it's all just a distraction about the fate of Jack and Lily. That's what unites us. That's what brings us all here. That's what interest we're sharing at this point in time. Jennifer, no. Jennifer, it's the RCMP that are charging Daniel. They don't need the go-ahead or the approval from Malaya. They have enough information on Daniel to be confident that they're going to get him for this. And they're just protecting the victim's name and all of it. They're going ahead with the charges. Okay? Has nothing to do with Malaya wanting people to charge Daniel or anybody else. So when you say claimant, you better take that shit back to the people's court, girl. This isn't going to be some glory fucking hole moment for these people where it's all going to come clean. They're just as guilty, less so because they probably didn't. I don't even. That's just my own personal view. I won't even go there. It's just a part of the filthy lifestyle and the debauchery, the environment that they lived in, that they chose. Mayflower, whenever I hear AB talking about Facebook dating, it reminds me of Lower Expectations on SNL. LOL. Lower Expectations. I'll have to go search that, Mayflower. I used to love SNL back in the 80s when I was in public school. Like, back then, we thought it was the funniest shit ever. I was only like 12. This was like grade 6, 7, and 8. And by the time... then it sucked. Then I didn't like it. After they got rid of Adam Sandler and all of that back then, I kind of lost interest. Now I watch it for a different reason. Comedy's taken a big hit. It's not the same anymore. Janie's RV rant, or RV isn't an RV. It's more like a leftover insect RV. Poopa. It's barely the shell. Yeah, it's what you get when you tow it home from the dump. Like somebody abandoned it, and she's using it as shelter in her own driveway because she can't stand to live around Malaya or the kids. Meaning that's how bad it is. Like, I mean, what is so bad that you have to choose that? Like, there's more to that story and its effect to this situation. It has everything to do. She's admitted it. It has everything to do with Jack and Lily and Malaya. Thank you very much, Shenanigans. That is Kent in the corner in his wheelchair. He's got a microphone. You see that, Kent? That's a better looking picture than the one they took of you on Global News, girlfriend. Actually, Kim Elton, yeah. I was too young in the 70s to like that. But there's all kinds of good stuff back then as well. I just like it. I'm just dating myself with when it was, funny to me in that sense. Corbin, you think long neck Cheryl knows what happened to the kids? I don't trust her. Corbin, I don't necessarily think so. That's not really on my mind. Well, I mean, what does that mean at this point in time? You can say yes and no to that. Holy shit. Who's sending me the big bucks? That's your first super chat, RR. What is the rest of that name? I can't see it now. Hopefully it better pop up here. Thank you very much for that super sticker. I really appreciate that. Safety Gal, that's who it is. Thank you, Safety Gal. Much appreciated. Healthy as hell stream today, by the way. Not even one interruption. Clear as a bell coming through. I got this new protocol. It's my network cache in my... is what the problem was. I think I fixed the problem. Drippy, Cheryl just wants to feel important and the center of the drama. Yeah. Like there's more to it than that, but yeah, that's an aspect of it. I mean, knowing that something else happened rather than what it is that the individual is portraying, I would have to agree with you. Cheryl is under that assumption as well, but I don't hold that against. I just consider that that's where everybody is, or everybody should be in the situation. From there, you can choose to do whatever it is that you want, but you're still choosing to do the wrong thing. You think they're closing down on Daniel? Yeah, they are. But how can this be? I never told you guys any information about what happened. That's what he's insinuating in these interviews, Daniel. I didn't give you any information to use against me, Copper, so therefore it's impossible for you to know. You see what it is the cops did with that? Here's Daniel trying to push this on the CBC. Let's go to that. Let me see where is that? There was nothing worth remembering. There is nothing worth remembering, Danny boy. Oh, Danny boy. That was the interview about after the dogs came. CBC. Cadaver dogs. Let's see how close we can get. Oh, right here. We got right to it, you guys. Could you believe that? The more information that you put in, the more accurate. And you know what's the... Let's give the devil his due here. Friends, these interviews that the CBC has come out with are just little slices into so much more and so many more valuable little gifts to us, because the interviews are a lot longer and there's a lot more questions in that sense. They're holding it back. What are you saying, Michelle? AB. Well, thank you, Anastasia. See how is this thing coming through late? Oh no, it's coming through early. Lowered Expectations is Mad TV, not SNL. Okay, thank you very much. Justice for Jack and Lily. I'll search that afterwards. Actually, I do know Lowered Expectations. I see it come up and pop up on my screen. It's where they're advertising themselves. They're making those like video profiles, aren't they? That's Lowered Expectations? I do remember that. Hi, I'm Mike, and I'm a middle manager. Yeah, and it tells you all. I know what is you're talking about. That's from Mad TV. Now I know, Anastasia. Fuck, that is funny. I watch those every time they pop up too. But I didn't at the time back then. Not that I knew of. I don't remember. I don't think so. But I do remember them popping up on when I'm scrolling. I appreciate that very much, Anastasia. Hold on here. I have to put ourselves through this. free presentation.
Dogs will go in there and won't find anything?
I know for 100.
Oh, this is before. I know for 100% they won't find anything.
Why do you think that?
You know, that confidence that Daniel's showing in that 100% statement, in that moment, I think he's speaking to them not finding any evidence of decomposition on their particular property at Garlock Road. Not confident that they're never going to find the kids in that, or what they had to do to hide them, or where he hid them, or his hiding spot. He's got a fucking hiding spot. Probably more than one. And that's going to come out. And he's going to tell the police. He's going to admit, I feel, in the long run. They're going to get an admission out of him. Because of how nonsensical and loose and lack of context, lack of sophistication and sheer desperation of the statements that Daniel has come out with over time, the answer, I believe, is just lying a little bit close to the surface than we would have worried about, in previous months. Daniel's going to be in a position where he's not going to have any other choice, especially after they get through with him in this SA charge and his punishment for it. I think things are going to change. And it's not going to be Daniel becoming more hardened. He's going to be getting soft really quickly. It's the next one. It's the next interview. Danny boy, what did you do? Oh, where the hell is that interview? You think it would pop up right there. Oh, look at here's Danny calling in for help. Hold on, I gotta look at this one. Gotta look at this one before we start. That's the regular CBC. Come on. Let's get this over with. Huh. Cheese and rice.
Which continue.
There we go.
The last few days have been very stressful. I mean, ever since the Friday morning when we noticed that the children were gone. Immediately jumped in the vehicle, surveyed all the areas, many dirt roads, many culverts as I could, and waited for the police to get there.
So again, this search began with family members and has now expanded.
It hasn't stopped since the get-go. You've said two completely different things there. You've searched everywhere you could, all the culverts, and you also waited for the cops to get there? See, those are two different things. How can you be in two spots at once? How can you be there and wait for the cops to get there and have searched everywhere, every road and every culvert? Granted, there isn't a lot of roads to search there around there, fun boy. How many roads around there do you figure you're going to search there, tough guy? So you searched, let's get this straight, guys. Right from day one, what stood out to you the most? The first thing was Daniel's fucking compulsive lying. How is it you can search? Daniel, from a 4 and a 6-year-old kid that you say just wandered away? You searched every lake and every culvert around the area. Guys, take a look at your screen right now. How many roads can you see? Not very many. You can count them on one hand, fun boy. They're 4 and 6 years old who just got out of your house while you were sleeping. That means they can't be too fucking far away, pal. Why would you have the immediate need to be searching culverts or anything like that? Thinking that they took up shelter, perhaps? How many are there? There's got to be less than 3, especially a 4 and a 6-year-old kid cannot travel that fast. Therefore, why would you have any reason to be searching in that area? That's perhaps where something like the pink blanket plant comes in. It gives him a reason to take a direction, a reason to go in a certain area, because, of course, being the innocent step-parent that he wants us to believe he is, we would have no reason to believe that he planted that blanket in those trees in the moment, giving him a reason to be down there and a reason to be out and continuing a search in another spot. Because, damn it, the kids must have walked out on their own. The victims must be blamed. But instead of giving you instead of speaking to what the hell is really going on here, he's telling you that everything is covered. He's already covered everything even before the cops showed up. He's done everything he possibly could before the RCMP even showed up, and they showed up within 20 minutes. I can't find him anywhere. By the way, neither can you. Vivalda, according to Janie, people might trigger him into doing a porta-peak like a psycho narcissistic mass murderer in that sense. Oh yeah? Was that Janie who left that comment underneath my video the other day? Hey Janie, I saw you in your sock account. It's interesting that you brought that up, Drippy. Nobody else out here saw that except there is an individual trying to reprimand me and how I was talking about Daniel in this circumstance and comparing him to that particular individual. Why do you guys keep comparing him to that? Because of the fact that he made the conscious decision to unalive more than one person in a row? Interesting that you're acknowledging the fact of what it is that you've done. Finally, under sock accounts at a distance. Well, that's what we're telling you he's done. Even Danny, when he's under pressure, has to acknowledge the fact that he would be a monster, and he is a monster in that sense. That's what the substances do to you. But unfortunately, you can't put the blame on that because you're the actor. You're the person. You must take responsibility of your own actions. And or lack thereof. They blamed the children for their own injuries. They are fucked. Thank you for the reminder, Mrs. Bartman.
Very stressful. I mean, ever since the Friday morning when we noticed that the children were gone. Immediately jumped in the vehicle, surveyed all the areas, many dirt roads, many culverts as I could, and waited for the police to get there.
A 20-minute impossible trek is what you're saying, Jennifer. Absolutely. But it leaks what it is that he's trying to get across, what he's trying to have you think about him in that moment rather than any factual information. Do you know what I mean? That's not really representative aside from waiting for the RCMP to get there, and then what? What did you do then? Then what? Then why? Why did you do that? Why? These are all questions that Daniel does not want to answer. He doesn't want to have to explain. He just wants you to assume. Cops can have a problem with that, sunshine. So in Daniel's mind, the kids had behavioral issues. I wonder what those were. I wonder what things Danny didn't like that he would consider an issue in that sense. What would be his trigger point with the kids? That's another way of phrasing it. Fucking asshole. I can't help but say his name and then say fucking asshole after it. It's my new habit I can't break. Daniel, you fucking ass. Let's see. Sorry for the harsh language, friends. Oh yeah, Danny boy. Talk to us. I love how this asshole, look at this. 4 weeks after children disappeared, this fucking asshole, he just loves to pose for the camera. He just loves to look right in the camera's eye. Right? Look right in that lens. Man, what a trustworthy guy. Hey, Durwood. Hey, Darren Geddes. Take a look at this man. Does he look like a deranged serial killer to you? Does he look like the type of person that would unalive 2 children? Fucking right he does. The guy's googly eyes and he's got fucking teeth that go all different directions. Looked like he just got lucky with a meth pipe. She was basically at the time saying it like all the public negatively he was getting was going, or the public, the negativity from the public he was getting was going to push him over the edge doing it. Trying to elicit pity and try to control what people are saying. Trying to get people to self-censor Drippy. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I understand. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, you guys can't do that. It's going to trigger him. He's going to react to it. Should have told that to Jack and Lily. I wonder if we can find the same area that triggers old Danny that Jack and Lily found. Or Malaya. Probably Malaya. It would have been Malaya rather than anything directly Jack and Lily possibly did. They were just annoying because they were extensions of the mother. Extension of the hussy that he realized that he picked up. See, he was starting to feel that he's going to build the type of woman that he wants rather than try to fit that woman in there to that image with the least amount of resistance possible.
Layer on the Armstrong cheese.
I don't know why YouTube keeps trying to sell me cheese.
5 months after Jack and Lily Sullivan vanished, their stepfather Daniel Martell says,
"Oh, well, isn't that just comfy? Did Kent make that? Figures the fucking thing's fallen over already. Oh, we're going to keep that stood up. Oh, isn't that just... Man, how could he possibly have anything to do with what happened to Jack and Lily? Look at him. He loves to go through these little walks, these little recreations. Try to elicit sympathy from the public. And Kent's right there enabling it. Kent's right there helping him every step of the way. Trying to repair my image because my kids have randomly disappeared on me. You know, like could happen to you as well. Oh boy, I feel bad for him. Not. That's sarcasm ultimate here. Miss Bartman says D. Martell loves Damaged. It's more affordable price range. Like Damaged Women? Those are my favorite. My favorite flavor. The ones that are damaged. The ones that they can't sell you in the stores.
as he continues to cooperate with police, including the moment they brought cadaver dogs to his property.
I didn't know the exact day when the arrival was going to happen. It was even a surprise to me, but at the end of the day, everything's ruled out there, and I hope this speculation, turns elsewhere.
2 dogs trained to...
That's the number one thing on your mind right now is what people think. Why? Guys, please, can you please stop speculating on me? Speculating about me and what it is that I did. Please stop speculating about the things that I did to Jack and Lily. That's what you're saying to the CBC there. I'm glad you acknowledge it. See, he's trying to fool you into thinking the thing that he is, that he primarily wants in all of this is for people not to think that he had anything to do with whatever happened to Jack and Lily. Acknowledging it loosely, that there is something that happened to Jack and Lily that he doesn't want to be associated with, but it's not the disappearing, it's why they disappeared. He's acknowledging that there's something that he needs you not to think that he did. See how he's tricking you into it? He's tricking your mind into not believing that he could possibly have anything to do with what happened to Jack and Lily for them to not be around anymore. So really, he's acknowledging his responsibility for it. Yeah, that guilty conscience, Kelly. Absolutely. You're not consumed over the things that aren't true about you. You're not worried about what people say and think unless it's true. Unless you're being exposed. Unless you're... That's the real thing that he doesn't want to happen. That would be the ultimate embarrassment. The worst case scenario. For him to be wrongfully convicted. That's the thing that's on his mind. That's what's on his mind. Because he is guilty. You're not worried about the things that you're not guilty of, ever. Even though you might virtue signal and claim it and pretend to and have conversations about it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't bother you like it bothers old Janie and Daniel here.
To detect human remains were brought in from British Columbia the week of September 22nd. They spent 3 days searching for evidence of the two missing children.
They didn't locate any human remains or anything associated to this file or any open files.
The dogs scoured the property where the siblings lived.
No, the dogs did their job and then some. The dogs, and more importantly, the new investigators that came in to rattle Danny's cage a little bit and to get him to react so that they could analyze it. It's just a tool like everything else that they have, but pal. Like the polygraph examination that you want so desperately to be the green light as to you're not being guilty in any of this, of anything. Please. There's a reason why they have a disclaimer that it's not admissible in court. It's because of how it's used. Your reaction to it tell the investigators your level of intellectual ability and your true intent. Again, all of the important things. It's like they set you up for it. Yeah, look at how stupid Daniel is. Look at what he believes. Your ignorance is on full display at every moment in this, Daniel. Norbeaster says he lives so far up his own arse in fairy tale land that he can't see that he's more transparent than Casper's puckered arsehole.
The woods where a pink blanket was previously found and a nearby trail. Martell says...
Look at this. This is just how much people care about this. When was this uploaded? 4 months ago. It's got 4 likes from the CBC. That's the interest on this. 4 likes on this video from the CBC. Tells me that nobody has seen this thing.
One of the dog...
Look at old Danny walking by here. Here goes another. Look at this guy. Look at this. Daniel, can we get another shot of you walking through the bushes? Can we get another shot of you of like maybe picking up that sign? Look at how active you are. Look at how busy you are acting for the camera. Again, priorities. Look at the bizarre ritual the CBC has this guy doing for the sake of a camera. What does that tell you? Man, you're just so torn up. Nobody in their right mind would be, number one, agreeing to do anything in front of a camera like this, you fucking idiot, unless they had something to cover up. Don't you have better things to fucking do in life than sit in front of a camera and have all of these little scenes that you're presenting, a recreation? You're really trying for an Emmy here. Daytime award. This is what he wants you to believe. He's trying to act the part, literally. Wait, you don't believe he's innocent? Wait till you see the next shot of him walking through and through the field. Boy, oh boy.
Where a pink blanket was previously found and a nearby trail. Martell says one of the dog handlers had tough questions for him about the day before the children were reported missing.
He said that Thursday didn't have enough details, and we think you did something to the kids Thursday night. And I said to him that Thursday was just an ordinary day until I woke up on Friday morning. And that's when, like, life changed.
The RCMP's lead investigator says his team doesn't plan to give up anytime soon.
This is not something that we stop working on. We've got 2 young children, Lily and Jack, who've gone missing from their home, and it is a Missing Persons Act investigation still at this time. But we need to find answers to that. There's a lot of legitimate public concerns about how 2 children go missing and we can't find them, so we're going to continue until we have answers.
Yeah, Danny, did you hear that? We're not just going to buy your nonsense bullshit, says Rob McCammon. A lot of people would like to know exactly how 2 children in this scenario just up and vanished. Hey, please tell us how you did it, Dan. That's because I have a cold. Disorderly conduct. He's got to go find something to do in between waiting for his next hit from his dealer, Norbeaster. Oh, you're really holding that against him. Where is this interview? Maybe we'll get there from here.
The next thing I heard is I heard Daniel yelling. He was yelling for Jack and Lily. I didn't get up because I thought he was yelling for Jack and Lily to get in the house. So the next thing you know, came out of the trailer after I heard Daniel, about, I'd say, 10 minutes after I heard him, I come out of the trailer. I opened up the door, was standing here. Malaya was standing right here with Meadow on her hip. And I come out and I said, "What's up?" She said, "Jack and Lily are missing." I said, "How long?" She said, "About 20 minutes. I closed the door, got my boots on, came out here, ran up in the woods. Just right up here. The kids have a little fort that they made out of sticks and fir branches, and that's where they go. You can see them and hear them. We went for walks in the woods. I had to practically carry Jack through the woods because there was no way that he was walking through all that tree falls and bushes. I did this whole area. There's an old road up back. When I got up to the top of the hill, I met Daniel. And I said to him, I said, "Did you find them?" He said, "No." He said, "You coming with me?" I said, "No." I said, "I'm going to search this area." Because when she told me the kids were missing, you automatically think they went into the woods. That was my first instinct. Mm-hmm. So I went up and I did this whole area, this whole wooded area, right up to the top of the dirt road, came back down here and came back down the side of the road, came back down here and came back up the same spot. I went back into the house. By the time the cops were here, I don't know exactly what time, I didn't take my phone. The cops were here. There was a bench sitting here, or a sawhorse, it's over there, was sitting here. I was sitting on it, bawling my eyes out. I was crying because I blame myself for not getting up that morning to see the kids. Because if I would have got up, this wouldn't have never happened. Okay? That's why I was crying.
We've heard a lot about the patio door.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's go see that.
Sure.
So this is the patio door.
This is the patio door.
That Jack and Lily would have.
That Jack and Lily came out of.
And so tell us why we've heard about the patio door.
Because everybody's saying on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok that the patio door makes a noise, and why they didn't hear the door open. The bedroom is back there, okay?
You gotta love this. Janie's trying to convince everybody, and she's more worried about her story than whatever it is that happened to the kids. She's worried about what people are saying on social media. She's telling you what it is that she did while telling you why she doesn't believe the kids went into the woods to begin with. After 2 months, in that sense. Like, think about how bizarre of a description that she's giving. This isn't genuine, heartfelt talk about what's going on like you get from Belinda. This is a session in trying to fool you into believing something.
That far window.
The last window is the bedroom.
And so they would have come out this door.
They would have come out this door
that morning.
Yes.
And then they went and played on the swing set.
Yes.
And that's when you heard them.
That's when I heard them. Right here in this area here. I planned on putting a pool up this year for the kids. You need level ground for a pool. That's what I was doing. I was leveling out the ground to set up the pool.
And this is the Thursday.
This is Thursday.
Right.
Friday, all the investigators, search and rescue and everything, right around here was where they found the only footprint.
This is where the boot.
This is where I was raking that night. That's where the boot print was found. In the mud where I was raking.
I thought there was two boot prints.
There was supposed to be a footprint found away up on the pipeline.
Right.
Malaya sent me the picture of it. That's all I know. There was a footprint.
In the mud where she was raking. You never usually rake mud to begin with. They're telling us it was muddy. There would have been tire prints and all kinds of other markings that you're raking in loose gravel over top of. Also known as evidence. Nobody believes that you're planning on putting in a pool, you retard. The pool's not there. Pool's never there. An absolute lie. Nothing but lying and avoidance. Nothing in relation to Jack and Lily. Everything is supposed to be, I'm right and you're wrong. This is what happened. But we don't care about what it is Janie was doing at any one fucking point in time. We're worried about Jack and Lily.
Found.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, the footprint was here. The only one that they can confirm that was Lily and Jack's was right here.
So it was child size.
Yes, a man, one of the investigators came in here and was measuring it all. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to lie. The reason why I wanted you guys to come here and do the interview here is to show you exactly where everything took place.
I'm not here to lie. Yes, you are. All of these things. You're right, Kim Elton. Oh, you guys, I'm going to cut it off here for the night and go back in, crawl into bed. We'll be back tomorrow, and you can muscle through this around, 2 o'clock tomorrow we'll be on? Might do a 2 o'clock live tomorrow, my friends. Continue this conversation. We'll pick up where we left off. AB is going to go get him some sleep. I'm going to rest my cold. Leave you with some G-Funk, though, friends.